In this video, I'm going to give you a step-by-step process on how to retire in 7 years, starting with $0. And if that sounds unbelievable to you, then watch all of the entire video and then tell me if you agree or disagree in the comments down below afterwards. With that being said, my name is Adrian. This is Always Talk Money. I like to talk money as it relates to everyday life, personal finance, investing, business, and so on and so forth. Now, let's get into the video. Before I get into the steps and the processes that you need to take in order to retire in 7 years, I want to first say this is going to be extremely hard. You're going to have to be extremely disciplined. And if you don't have the discipline, it probably won't work. And also, it probably will only work with a small section of the population. So if it doesn't apply to you, then that's fine. You could just watch this for entertainment purposes only. Now, the first step that you need to take if you want to retire in 7 years, starting from zero, is you need to make a plan. You need to know exactly what you're going to be doing for each year of those 7 years. If you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. This is a journey that's going to be requiring meticulous execution. And for you to do that, you need a plan in place, because retirement looks different for every single person. Me personally, I could never really retire because I just love working. But you have to define in your plan what it looks like for you. It could look differently from every single person. You could just be on your house in a homestead, just being on a farm all day. That could also be retirement. And part of that planning, you need to know what your numbers are. Do you need 500K, 600K, maybe even $1 million? And also depends on where you live, where you plan to settle down, because where you are right now doesn't necessarily mean that's the place you're going to retire in. Because I know a lot of people, they make a lot of money in a very expensive city, and then when they call it quits, they go and they retire in a small, quiet town that has a fraction of the cost of living, and their money stretches much longer and their retirement is much more beneficial. So all of that has to be considered in the first step, which is making a plan. The second thing you need to do is to downsize and simplify your life. Yes, you have to do that. This is where the discipline comes in. You have to simplify it so much that you're basically only spending money on things that are needs, not wants, needs. Know the difference. A want is, I want to eat at this nice restaurant. A need is, I need to eat food. But it doesn't necessarily have to be at a nice restaurant. It just needs to be food that sustains you. So you need to live in a much cheaper situation. If you have an apartment, maybe get a roommate. If you have a house, maybe get a renter. If your job is good and you can keep your job in a much cheaper city and a much cheaper town, then maybe do that. If you can work remotely and work overseas, then do that. But what you need to do is to make your life as inexpensive as possible. If you can walk to work, or you have good public transportation, or just maybe get a bicycle, get rid of the car, or just pay off the car and not have a car note. All you need to be paying is living expenses, food expenses, some health insurance, and utilities. That's it. No discretionary spending, no going on vacation, no nothing. I said again, this is going to be hard. So after you make your plan, you have to downsize your life so where you're basically spending next to nothing to survive. The third step, what you want to do is maximize and optimize your income. If you have a spouse, both people need to be working. None of this stay-at-home stuff. Everybody needs to contribute. If you have kids that are 15 and 16, they need to get a part-time job. This part of the process is all money in. It doesn't matter if it's $10, it doesn't matter if it's $20. You need to be having as much money in as possible. If you can do more, try to switch jobs, maybe get a promotion. If you can get a promotion, get a raise, try to switch jobs. Studies have shown that people who tend to switch jobs will usually give themselves on average about a 14% raise, or start a side hustle on the side. You need to find ways to improve your income. You need to be working 18 hours a day on something. It doesn't have to be 18 hours of full back-breaking work, but if you're doing back-breaking work for 18 hours, maybe you start to try an online business for 10 hours a day. Again, as I said, this is not going to be easy, but you need to squeeze as much juice as humanly possible out of making your income maximize as you can. That means everybody in your household works, making as much money as you possibly can in order to achieve this goal as retiring in 7 years. Now guys, if you're finding value from this video so far, please give a like for the YouTube algorithm. It really helps the channel grow, as well as share the content around if you want someone else to see it, and subscribe and become part of the family. Thank you so much. Now, after you've done those three things, this is where the numbers come in. You need to be investing 50% of your income, right? So you've simplified your life as much as you can, and you've also increased your income. So let's say you were making 50K before all this started, and you simplified your life just like I told you to do. You probably are living off of 35K, so you have a 15K cushion. But then I told you to improve your income and squeeze as much money as you can possibly do. So let's say you improved your income from 50K to 80K by doing all that extra work and just bringing all money in. So now you're living off 35K because you simplified your life, but you're making 85K. That's a $50,000 difference. What you're gonna do is you're going to invest that $50,000. So you're living off 35K and you've improved your income to 85K. That's a difference of 50,000. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take that 50,000 and put it in a broad market diversified index fund like the S&P 500 or around something that will return, let's say 10% a year. That is going to compound to just over $600,000. By the way, I have an ETF investing ebook in the description down below if you want to know which funds I invest in and funds that could help you to level up your investment portfolio. So to recap, that $50,000 difference from 35K to 85K is going to net you over $600,000 in 7 years. And then finally, once you get to that point, you're going to have $600,000 invested. And by the 7th to the 8th year, you can retire because guess what? The last 7 years, you have been living off 35K per year. What do you think that $600,000 investment is going to pay if it still returns 10% every single year? That means you can withdraw off of that 600K 10% annually, which comes out to about 60K a year. And you're already living off 35K. So really, you can take off 5% and get 30K a year and have a part-time job on the side, and you'll never have to work again because you don't have to touch that 600,000 principal. So if you're following what I'm saying, after you've invested 50K for 7 years, starting with an initial investment of 50K, you'll get 600K plus. You take a distribution of about 10% off of that 600K, which nets around 60K per year. But you're already living off 35K per year, which means you have a leeway of 30K that you can live off of without even having to really touch your principal. And that money can actually keep growing if you only take off, let's say, 5% of what it returns. I know that's a bit numbery and I know that's a bit wordy, but mathematically it checks out and it works. And so in 7 years, you could be retired by doing that plan. But again, it's not easy. It's not for everybody. And sometimes retirement isn't all as it's cracked up to be. But this channel is not about me and my opinions. It's about you, the audience. And if you wanted a blueprint of how to do it, that's how you do it. Again, this is the end of the video, guys. Give a like, subscribe for the YouTube algorithm. I appreciate you guys for watching. New videos every Monday and Thursday. Check the links down in the description down below. And until next time, I will see you. Peace.